eighth wonder of the world, basically a geek show. And here are your hosts, Mike and Jack.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 67 of Basically a Geek Show. This is Jack, and sitting here with his dick in his hand is Mike.
What up?
So, what are we starting off with today, sir?
Well, we're going to start off with some trailer discussion. 3 trailers in
I like
particular.
double wides.
No. We're going to start off a bit on the, I guess, obscure end. The Japanese trailer for, what is it, Godzilla Resurgence?
Yes, Godzilla Resurgence, which is an actual word. Just pointing that out, because Japan sometimes like to come up with subtitles that don't actually mean anything.
Revengeance.
Revengeance. The revengeing.
So, what did you... Okay, so the trailer in question, it is basically a teaser. Nothing in the way of dialogue, really. Just
and if there were, it'd all be in Japanese anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what does it matter to us? To be honest, I don't, like, earlier you're like, well, it doesn't say anything about plot, so, and my reply is, who gives a fuck about plot? It's a Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, if you're going to a Godzilla movie for a plot, you're in the wrong theater.
What can you glean about this Godzilla movie from that trailer?
It actually was kind of, I don't know, I actually found it to be kind of chilling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they definitely seem to be going the dark route with this one. The new Godzilla suit, I will revise my opinion of it slightly. It now that I see it in action in like an edited scene, especially taking into consideration that it may very well be like a first form kind of a thing. It definitely like kind of makes it sort of almost gruesome.
I guess, but it still looks awkward. And again, it's one of those things where if it is sort of like a first form, like sort of a decrepit form, that Godzilla starts off in, I guess, then that works for me. But I'm still getting I'm still feeling a lot of the negativity I felt when I first saw it. It just seems kind of awkward and shambling, and again, depending on how the story works, that might be what they're going for, and it might be a good thing, but I really hope that's not going to be Godzilla for the whole movie.
And, okay, their choice in having the suit be like that actually does kind of give me some insight into the plot. I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be another reboot that's going to most likely ignore everything up to, except for the 1954 movie. I will tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and really, I mean, that doesn't take any great insight on my part to come to that conclusion. That's been their shtick now since 1985.
Mm-hmm.
So then this definitely suggests the same thing, except with, I don't know, more of probably an edge to it, I guess, is what they're going for. This definitely seems to have a very serious tone to it. And yeah, like I said, I even thought the whole thing was kind of, I don't know, creepy. Almost. It's interesting. I'm not sure if I'm really down for like a creepy Godzilla movie.
I don't think you could do necessarily a full-on creepy Godzilla movie.
I don't think the finished product will end up being like that. The trailer certainly gave across that that's what they're going for. I mean, sure, there was no dialogue, and even if so, it would have all been in Japanese, but music and images can say a lot, and that's kind of what I got from it.
True. It does seem kind of reminiscent, I suppose, of the first trailers for the Gareth Edwards Godzilla that kind of just played up the destruction, and they had the Oppenheimer, quote running over it.
Because that's never been used in a movie ever.
Just saying, they seem to be trying to go for the same thing, and the fact that, Toho greenlit this thing after the success of the American Gareth Edwards version tells me that they kind of saw that and were like, we could do something like that too.
Here at Toho Studios, we make Godzilla movies like we've been making them since 1954. We made them first, and if you ask us, we still make them better.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers when Konami didn't suck.
God. The suicide of Konami. That could be its own show, honestly. But
we could probably at least do a half-hour segment on that sometime. Yeah, there's too much to go into that probably on this show.
But, all in all, I guess the thing that you can guess the most or judge a trailer by, did this hype you for the movie? Are you?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. And I'll tell you one thing. I mean, the Toho Godzilla flicks always have, at least to me, have always had a really good soundtrack. And the score for this one, if what was used in that trailer is any indication, is
Up
definitely
from the depths.
Fuck off, you. Jesus, Hanna-Barbera, they should be tried for war crimes for what they did to animation.
I like SWAT cats.
Fuck off. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, the musical score was great. The Godzilla suit I'm warming to it. In the context, seeing it edited properly, I'm warming up to it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, how it fits in with the plot. Is it a first form? Is it or is there multiple forms? We'll see.
Basically, is this Sega Saturn or is it just a Sega Genesis where it is just, the first of many upgrades?
Segatron!
My Sega will block out the sun.
So that we may game in the shade.
Oh, God. I'm still half convinced that Sega's plan at one point was for the Genesis to be the last console they would ever make, and they just keep adding add-ons.
I wish they would go back and keep doing that. Like, remanufacture all the old add-ons. Go back to Model 1, nigga. None of this Model 2, Model 3, or God forbid the Model 4, which has been released recently. Barely the size of the fucking cartridge you put in the fucking thing. Mm-hmm. Jesus. Anyways. But yeah, remanufacture it and make a new adapter where you can, like, along with some, revised home architecture, maybe some drilling into your wall, slide your HD TV directly into your Genesis.
Hey, the Model 1s did say high-definition graphics.
And just for the next, 100 years, keep making attachments. And eventually, when cybernetics gets to the proper point, you can actually install it in yourself.
And you can become one with the Sega.
Become one with the Truxton. Yeah.
So, on that note, I guess let's move on to the second trailer we wanted to talk about. In particular, Star Wars Rogue One. This is the trailer for the first, I guess, anthology Star Wars movies.
And I need to rant about this.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely hated that fucking trailer. I swear to God, What coke-addled fucking retard thought it was a good idea to have that mind-grating, irritating klaxon blaring throughout the entire goddamn trailer?
An air raid siren, because it's like a military.
Yeah, but it's not a cool one. It's not a cool one, and it's fucking annoying as shit. God, fuck that trailer and fuck that movie. Pass. Your thoughts, sir?
You got it all out?
Yeah, I'm good. Just fuck that trailer. Fuck that decision to it was so grating, my God.
I'm going to take perhaps a slightly different view of it. I really liked it. Honestly, I thought it did okay, so if this is basically set, it's probably set up to prior to the start of episode 4, so, this is technically another prequel, although hopefully not in the vein of the last one. Alright.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Let's start over.
No, you're back. We were having some audio difficulties there, but we got...
Hello.
Yeah, we got you back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm gonna start over again.
No, you came through enough to where it'll come through. I'll take care of it in editing. It'll be fine.
Alrighty, so this is technically another prequel, hopefully better done than the last one, than the last set, I guess. But when watching this, the one thing that they absolutely had to get right that they did, at least as far as the trailer goes, was they had to show that they were able to perfectly kind of capture the aesthetic of the Star Wars universe as established in Episode 4. And it did that perfectly. They had the Rebel soldier outfits were spot on. They had the classic Stormtrooper look. They had Imperial Intelligence Officer man, who is probably going to be, the main villain. And we got a look at some never-before-seen Stormtrooper models, some all black, sinister-looking ones. If I had to guess, I would say probably, Black Ops Stormtroopers, that kind of deal. But all in all, I loved everything about it. It looked like a trailer that took its source, that treated its source material with reverence. It looked like it was building a engaging story. No complaints whatsoever about the trailer. I didn't mind it at all.
I wouldn't have minded it had it not been for that god-awful noise. I mean, that was just really unnecessary. It distracted from everything. And it just basically had me just ready to fucking punch whoever did it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I can't be the only person that thought that. I know I can't be.
Mm-hmm.
But my thoughts on the movie itself, besides fuck it because some asshole decided to blow my head off during the fucking trailer, is, looks like Operation Milk Star Wars for every fucking penny it's worth as a go. If you want to see more Star Wars, go see this and you'll see more Star Wars. What else is there to say?
Well, I mean, not only is it more Star Wars, but I guess my enthusiasm is coming from the fact that it's more Star Wars and it's more Star Wars done well. Because,
it's too soon to say done well, I think.
Well, the trailer looks like it's done very well. And to be perfectly honest, they have sort of...
You know what else had a good trailer? Iron Man 3.
Yeah, but the thing is that The Force Awakens was really good, and so Force Awakens has kind of got me to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, your last movie was pretty good, trailer for this one looks good, I'm going to assume you know what you're doing.
I want to see episode 8, Uncle Lando slaps a bitch down.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Get Billy D. Williams
Complete while holding a wine goblet
full
of Colt 45. Yes. Because, god damn it, he is the administrator of this here facility.
Uncle Lando's got to take his belt off.
Yeah. Uncle Lando going to get fucking Department of Children and Families called on his ass when he gets a hold of that boy.
Well, the thing about episode 8 that I actually think is going to be very interesting is how they kind of play with Kylo Ren, because Kylo Ren, I mean, Darth Han Solo flat out says in The Force Awakens when he comes face to face with his son, he's like, "Take off the mask, you don't need it," and he's right, because like Vader didn't wear the helmet for shiggles.
Yeah.
He needed that.
Yeah, he wasn't saying like that's not who you are. You're not the mask. He's like, no, you don't need it. You can breathe fine. Lord knows you should be able to with that fucking schnoz of yours. Where did you get that? Did Leia fuck the milkman? You don't look like me, boy. You don't look like me.
But now, as a result of episode 7, Kylo Ren has got himself a scar. So I have the feeling he's going to turn into that guy who thinks he's, hideously disfigured because he's got, like, a slight scar across his forehead.
Now I'm scarred on the outside as well as on the inside.
I bet people were upset when Darth Vader changed his name. People are small like that.
Take off the mask, son. You don't need it. It's who I am, Dad. No, you don't need it. You can breathe fine.
I was half expecting, when Han was like, "You don't take off the mask. You don't need it," for Kylo Ren to be like, "You can't tell me what to wear anymore, Dad. I'm on the dark side now."
Right?
Oh.
It's just a phase like that time he begged me for ballerina lessons. God. This fucking kid. He gets it all from his mother. I blame his Uncle Luke myself.
Oh, Luke probably blames himself.
Luke should blame himself.
Well, okay.
The Skywalker men are bitches, I'm sorry.
Luke really does need to blame himself because, alright, from what we get from that backstory, basically that Luke trained Kylo Ren, / Ben Solo, and he trained a bunch of other, promising young Jedis to try to rebuild the Jedi Order, and Ben got turned to the dark side and killed everyone else. I mean, that's
now he's sitting on some fucking mountain playing John Denver songs on an acoustic guitar.
But, okay, who was Luke's mentor? It was Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan kind of failed like that, too, because it was Obi-Wan who failed to train Anakin properly. And so, it's like, Luke, you kind of Obi-Wan'd all over this situation. You should have known better.
Well, again, the Skywalker men are bitches, alright? Let's just sit back and let fucking Leia handle it, shall we? Why the fuck didn't she get Force training? My God.
I don't know. The movies are kind of the original trilogy is kind of ambiguous about whether or not Leia actually has Force sensitivity. Because there are hints, like when Luke says, like, "You're my sister," she's like, "I've known. Somehow I've always known."
I knew it from the moment we kissed.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. If she knew this, if she knew deep down this entire time, well, that just kind of makes so many other earlier scenes awkward.
Yeah.
But looking for love in all the wrong places. But And also during the Vader Luke duel, the end of Jedi, like the thing that Vader says that absolutely gets Luke to lose his shit is when Vader's like, if you cannot be turned, perhaps your sister can be, indicating that, theoretically with training, Leia could become a Jedi or Sith. But, for The Force Awakens, doesn't even, the way that The Force Awakens plays out, it's like it almost implies that she doesn't have that ability, or at the very least, she just chose not to develop it. Which, considering all the good things it's brought her family, maybe you don't blame her for being like, yeah, I'm not good to touch that.
It's just space aids.
Now, it is worth noting that throughout the entirety of Episode 7, the phrase metachlorians was never mentioned once.
Oh, I noticed.
It's kind of like, we're not gonna strike it from canon, but we're striking it from canon. We're never gonna mention it ever again.
Pretty much.
Yeah, So, Rogue One as a movie, I'm definitely interested to see how it plays out, like how they kind of treat a Star Wars movie that's not officially part of, the series. It's an anthology, and I'm interested to see how it does in terms of story, how they construct the story, and more importantly, almost, how it performs, because if this thing, if this makes a decent profit, it will pretty much guarantee a Star Wars movie every year, because that's sort of the business model they have laid out. Every other year, we're going to get a new entry in the main series, and then the years between are going to be these anthology movies.
I will simply watch with curiosity to see if they do as good of a job with this. Let's just be honest. They're doing a Marvel with this.
Oh, they are. They definitely are. The difference being that I think the structure of those Star Wars films actually means that these anthologies will have more freedom to sort of do their own thing, whereas Marvel's kind of fallen into a cookie-cutter rut since the first Avengers movie, where each movie in the Marvel universe is standalone, right? But they're all kind of clones of each other. Whereas in Star Wars, you've got the main series, which is about a story that's progressing, and then these anthologies can be whatever the fuck you want to make them. So I think there's actually more room for innovation on the Star Wars end than there is in the Marvel end. Where, the Marvel end is like, to make a successful Marvel movie, you must do this, and this. And with Star Wars, it's more like, I think the list of things that you have to do to make a good Star Wars movie is,
Call it Star Wars.
No, don't pull a prequel. So, just those three movies, just don't do that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just don't Lucas all over this thing, because, geez. But so that's Rogue One. So let's talk about one more trailer here to round off our trailer discussions. This one is going to touch on something that we've talked about before on the show. I don't want to call it a reboot. I don't want to call it a sequel because I don't know what it is. But the new Ghostbusters.
I don't think the movie itself knows what the fuck it is.
Yeah, the new Ghostbusters movie with the all-female cast. Well, not all-female cast, but all-female Ghostbusters team. Because, okay, the trailer starts off being like, 30 years ago, 4 scientists saved New York. Now a new team assembles. But then once you get into, the meat of the trailer, they never make a reference to picking up where the original Ghostbusters left off.
To the contrary, they seem to go out of their way not to, because, bitches all like, hey, look, it's a hearse. And not one of them say, oh, hey, how ironic, or hey, no reference to that. No, they treat it like it's a completely brand new, unheard of fucking thing, where they could have just as easily, if they wanted to give us some kind of sense of continuity or what have you, have them find fucking Ecto-1, like rusting derelict under a tarp or some shit.
And I think, and hell, I mean, you could even have a scene where, like, you have Bill Murray, bring Bill Murray back, and as Venkman, and have Venkman be, like, fat and bloated and, like, retired on a beach, and he's, like, dragged out of retirement.
So basically Bill Murray.
Basically Bill Murray, right? Where, like, where you bring Venkman back, he's got to, like, train the new team or something. Like, I mean, it's basically...
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ghost.
Exactly. I mean, it's very basic and setup.
And probably would have been the only actual genuine comedy in the whole goddamn movie. I'm sorry, I remember when the Black Ghostbuster was actually there because he was just a guy, not because he was a fucking affirmative action check-off plot point list.
Yeah, that is something that kind of...
I mean, Winston he wasn't the Black Ghostbuster, he was just a Ghostbuster, okay? He was a guy they got, and he was cool, and he didn't go through the movie, saying
like,
shit like, that's whack! But no, now they've got to have the fucking fat, sassy black chick.
That bothered me. And you can call me, I guess, hypersensitive if you want. Although, I would not have very nice things to say in response. But this legitimately did bother me because, as you said, Jack, Winston, played by the great Ernie Hudson, was not, he was not the stereotypical black character, but this character who appears to be named Patty Tolan, that character, I don't know the name of the actress, and I swear I'll look it up later, but I just don't care enough right now.
Right.
But the character of Patty Tolan, I mean, you look at this trailer, and she's, the fat, sassy black woman.
Because we haven't ever seen that before.
I mean, we've seen that, from every movie ever made. And, she's, there's even a whole point where, like, they imply that the three white women are all, scientists and engineers. It's like, and then she's like, I'm in the club too, because I know the streets of New York. And it's like, oh God, you actually, say, oh, okay, the black character doesn't know all that book learning, but she has street smarts. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Right.
For a movie that's trying to paint itself as being progressive in nature, by like, oh, we've got a team of all-female Ghostbusters. They turned the black character into basically Aunt Jemima, with street sass, and I don't know what the fuck. You would think that a movie that has as its premise, feminist Ghostbusters would be more conscious of these sort of things, but apparently not. Apparently not.
And see, that's what gets me about it. I mean, it doesn't offend me, except for the fact that it's stupid, and stupidity offends me. Mm-hmm. And, if you're going to be all, like you said, if you're going to be all fucking progressive and all this other fucking bullshit, then why do you got a token black bitch?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously. What the fuck? Why don't you... they could have scrapped it all and made an actual good movie. It goes back to... and when it comes right down to it, I don't have anything to say about this fucking movie beyond what I've been saying for the years since we known it was being made. If you want to have a diverse cast, fine. But you don't have diversity for its own sake because it makes for a fucking shit movie. You hire who is best for the fucking part, and the color, the gender, whatever, comes second to the actor's capability. And I'm sorry, you can't say shit about capable actors if you've got fucking Melissa McCarthy. I'm just saying.
Well, given the director of this thing, I think she was going to be in this new Ghostbusters movie one way or another, regardless of how it shook out.
I mean, it's like Johnny Depp being in a Tim Burton movie. I mean, yeah, but...
The movie itself...
We'd at least better get fucking Ecto Cooler out of this. I swear to God, Mike, if we don't at least fucking get Ecto Cooler out of this...
I don't know how they don't. Like that would be the dropped ball of all dropped balls if we don't get at least Ecto Cooler coming out of that. But I've gotta say, just based on the trailer, it's going for a very stylized, almost cartoony CGI appearance, and that's not bad in and of itself.
No, it's not.
It's not. But the original Ghostbusters made such fantastic use of practical effects.
It really did.
And you could still do a lot of that with practical effects today. And I guess this is turning into another over-reliance on CGI rant, but I don't want it to become that. I guess I'm just saying is I don't particularly care for the general aesthetic of the movie that they're going for.
Right.
I mean, on one hand, I guess I do appreciate it in a sense where they probably went, look, it's probably cheaper to do computer-generated imagery, so if we're going to do that, let's just go all in.
Well, they sure as hell didn't spend their money on casting.
Oh, no, they got Chris Hemsworth playing a bit part as the team secretary, so...
Oh, right.
They got Thor in there, right? So, Thor don't come cheap.
Only if you were doing the part of Thor as the Ghostbusters secretary. That would be amazing.
They're interviewing people for the secretary position and Thor just shows up.
An ill wind this way blows. What? We've got one.
And they're like, so why are you interested? And he's like, thou ist bored.
What do you mean qualifications? I am Thor, son of Odin. What is this resume of which you speak?
Tony Stark has removed me from his party mansion. I need something to do.
Now that would be worth the price of admission.
But the big news, I think, surrounding this movie at the moment is that the trailer on YouTube, posted by the studio, is actually, I believe it is either the video that has the most dislikes out of any video ever put up on YouTube, or it's the YouTube video with the most likes, with the most dislikes in relation to overall views. But it is...
It broke some kind of bad record, basically.
Yeah, it is basically the most disliked movie in the... not movie, but the most disliked video in the history of YouTube. Now, as someone who does YouTube videos yourself, you've informed me that as far as the uploader is concerned, it really doesn't matter. Like, clicking like versus dislike ultimately just mean, as far as YouTube's concerned, it just means, oh, they cared enough to comment.
Right. Yeah. Whether you like, whether you dislike, whether you comment to say that the uploader's mother sucks cocks in hell, it doesn't matter. According to the YouTube's algorithm, this video is generating traffic, it's generating buzz, it's generating interest.
But I do think, given the and I believe that I don't have the exact number on me at the moment, but I do believe that as of this recording, it's just north of 508,000 dislikes.
Dude, I couldn't tell you, man. I haven't looked at that fucking trailer in 2 weeks? It was before. I think it was before we went to PA.
I'm just going off of I saw the news story recently, and I believe it was like 508,000 and change in terms of the number of dislikes. Now, there are some who have put forward the argument that this massive showing of dissatisfaction for this movie has nothing to do with people not liking the trailer or thinking the movie looks bad, but it is just a case of sexism and misogyny on the internet.
Bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I kind of want to hear your argument of why. Of why.
Okay.
Of why that is your argument.
All right, because for one thing, absolutes don't make for a good generalization.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't say, well, everyone who likes this or everyone who doesn't like that is such and such a certain word here.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the trailer. Mike, am I a misogynist?
No.
Okay. In fact, earlier in this episode, I just said, fuck Luke. Have Leia, give goddamn Leia a fucking lightsaber and let her take care of shit, because evidently the Skywalker men need the tampons changed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not a fucking misogynist. I mean, yes, I say shit, yeah, but I hate everyone equally. It doesn't have anything to do with gender.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I try to offend everyone in turn.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have anything to do with okay, maybe some are like, oh, women in my Ghostbusters, her. I don't think that's a really significant portion of the population, though. I'm not saying that none of these people are misogynists. That'd be stupid. But it looks generic, all right? You just plugged in, hey, look at us. We stuck 4 women in the parts of Ghostbusters. We're progressive. Meanwhile, black chick in the back's like, that's whack, yo!
I think,
as she does like the chicken head bob thing that black women are incredibly seem to be skilled at doing. I don't. No, it's not misogyny. It's you made a fucking generic shite movie, and people are calling you out on it. If there's one good thing to come out of this movie, it will be that maybe some of the character designs for like the ghosts and shit are interesting. Some of the effects might be good, but then again, this is 2016. Of course the effects are going to be good.
I guess, okay, and I do have the official number. It is, and again, this is just of the time of this recording, so this could change between now and publication. But currently it is sitting at 507,610 thumbs down, which is the highest number of dislikes out of any video that has ever been uploaded onto YouTube.
The problem is none of this means anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people who are voting this movie down, they're not going to do what I'm going to do and just not go see it. They're going to go see it. You're going to go see it too. You are going, as much as you're sitting here and bitching about it, you're going to go see it. These people are going to go see it. They're not going to vote with their wallet and keep this movie from making money. You people, you yourself included, are going to go see this fucking movie.
Yes, okay, but I am I wouldn't say I'm typical of the movie-going audience, because to me, going to the movies is a good time waster. Like, okay,
right.
If it's after work on a weekday, or it's if it's a weekend and I don't have anything planned, nothing from work that needs doing right away, no plans with friends, nothing like that, then I'll be like, hey, I got nothing going on. I'll see a movie. It's a good way. It's a good way to kill an afternoon. And as a result of that, from my perspective, it's sort of like, well, that does tend to burn through movies rather quickly, so I end up seeing a lot of films that aren't necessarily at the top of my want-to-see list, and so, no, I'm not going to see this when opening day. I probably won't even see it, the first week or two that it comes out, but, if I'm sitting home on a Saturday one day, and it's sort of like, I got nothing going on, and yeah, sure, I'll go see a movie, and, Ghostbusters, okay, that'll be 2 hours of a thing. So,
I mean, I
that's
get it, but at the same time, you know, people that are complaining about this movie, that are that pissed off about it, go see a movie you've already seen twice. Go see one the third time and forget Ghostbusters. Unless people vote with their fucking wallets by not seeing this shit, they're going to keep making it. And people are going to go fucking see this movie just so they can fucking bitch about it. I'm not going to give them one goddamn penny. I'll say it right here. I'll fucking pirate the bitch if I want to see it. I'm not giving them one goddamn penny. And I don't even think I'm going to care enough to fucking pirate the goddamn thing. Fuck it. I'm not giving them even the pretense of me caring enough to even try to see it illegally. I'm just not going to watch it.
I'm interested to see how exactly. Well, I'm interested to see how opening weekend for this thing goes, and then I'm interested to see in how it performs once those initial reviews start coming back. Because I do think we are not the only ones who are a bit confused as to what this movie is. Is it a sequel? Is it a reboot? You know, no one's quite sure. So that's, so I think a lot of people are like, let's wait, let's see what people have to say about it. Let's see what people say about how it ties in with the other one, because you look at two movies that have sort of, three movies that sort of revived older franchises over the course of the past year and a half. Jurassic World, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and Creed all showed, I guess, proper reverence to what came before in their respective series. And so now we've got this Ghostbusters movie, and the trailer has vague hints that they want to acknowledge the first one, but also that they don't want to, and I think that'll be a deciding factor for a lot of people, whether or not they give this, the time of day, whether or not they bother to make this part of a larger Ghostbusters mythos, or if it's just a shameless reboot that tries to cash in on the brand. And that sort of ties into what I think is ultimately my biggest criticism, at least of the trailer. And I guess you could say this is a criticism of just how trailers are made in general for these movies based off of big franchises, is that the entire trailer is sort of just a grab bag of iconic imagery that I'm supposed to know, right? Where it's like, Slimer, Proton Packs, Echo 1... Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters, right? You know Ghostbuster things.
Yeah, pretty much.
And, look, I'm a fan of geeky stuff. I'm a fan of Transformers. I'm a fan of comic books. I'm a fan of Star Wars, of Jurassic World, of Star Trek. And so, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. And so after so many years, a decade after decade of seeing trailers that are sort of cashing in on my nostalgia and on my, the franchises that I love, I think I've become a bit cynical, where it's like, look, all you're doing is throwing imagery that I have an emotional connection to.
It's exploitation, basically, of a form. But then again, so pretty much any advertising is exploitation to a degree, to whatever demographic they're pandering to. And these movies just happen to be a bit more shameless in their pandering than most, because they're like, hey, do you remember Proton Packs? Pepperidge Farm remembers, and so do we. And it's whatever. I agree with you, though.
And it just, I don't know. So I've just kind of become a bit jaded, I guess, in that respect. And to be perfectly honest, some of that isn't even necessarily the trailer's fault. Like, the trailer's going to show what it's going to show, and this is just a trend that I found annoying amongst, I guess, what you could tentatively call our peers in the, I guess, wider social media kind of nerd media output, amateur nerd media production, I guess. It's that anytime you see a trailer...
We should change the name of our show to Amateur Nerd Media.
Just like anytime a movie from a franchise like this gets released, just go on YouTube, and it's full of trailer analysis, trailer breakdown, the things you missed in the new trailer, and they all inevitably have the same sort of cover image to the videos of some guy's surprised-looking head superimposed on a screen from the trailer, and I don't know. It's all just fucking clickbait at the end of the day, and you can only watch so many of those videos before you start to be like, Christ, man, this is all just exploitation, and you're all just fucking lemmings. But, that's a bit hipsterish of me.
Well, I mean, it's true, though, because,
I suppose, but
there are thousands of other people on YouTube and what other media right now who have said probably the exact same fucking things that we have said in this episode. Just not as good as us because we're genetically superior to them. Mm-hmm. But still, there are other plebs out there, Untermensch, who think they're as good as us, who have said the same fucking things that we've said. Now, granted, they may have said it before us. We're still better. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still the same shit being said. Still, they do this shit. Everyone fucking rages. They know people are going to rage about it. And, like I said, sadly, most of the same people who are raging about this movie aren't going to do the one thing they could do to make sure it never happens again, and just not see it. They're going to go see it, and then they're going to post more videos of them raging about the movie that has pissed them off, that they hated so badly, that they knew they were going to fucking hate when they went to the goddamn theater. And to me, that's just stupid.
I don't know. I saw Dragon Ball Evolution, even though I was pretty sure it was going to be objectively terrible.
So
let's leave that behind. That's our trailer discussion. But let's get into let's get into some Power Rangers news, because we've had some happenings regarding the Power Rangers movie. We got
was it the trees?
Pardon?
Was it the trees?
No
happenings.
Oh,
trees.
Well, let's talk a bit, because we got our first look. The first look out of anything, I guess, that had to do with the movie was a shot of Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa. Now, Jack, just for the sake of refreshing your memory, I'm sending you a link of Rita Repulsa from the original Power Rangers television show.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
Okay. So
I don't need a refresher of that.
That's Rita Repulsa. Apparently her and Padme Amidala have the same tailor. Then we've got this is Elizabeth Banks in the first Rita Repulsa costume that we saw.
Hey, baby.
So as you can see, quite a departure.
Quite an improvement, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, when I first showed you this, I remember you were telling me that you assumed I would have issues with it because it was such a departure from the source material. And look, I like Power Rangers. I consider myself a fan of the franchise, but I mean, look, let's all be real. Rita Repulsa's costume in the original show was stupid. And it was stupid.
It is, but I've still seen a lot of people complaining about the new Rita Repulsa. A lot of people.
Well, those people are wrong.
I agree, but then again, not only do I not care about the Power Rangers, I pretty much dislike them. So, I mean, for me to really like the Power Rangers, you would need to cut out all of the teen drama shit and just make it a straight up kaiju version. You need to make it Pacific Rim for me to like Power Rangers. Anything short of that, to me, it's just don't give a fucksville. So, well, I mean, my opinion on this really isn't going to matter because I'm not a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, it's basically a cheap Voltron knockoff.
We've gone over why you're wrong on that before.
Oh, you're wrong, so...
Well, what's interesting about this is that this outfit for Rita, okay, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is it's green.
Well, yeah.
And...
That's not the first thing that comes to my mind, but...
And you've also got, I would argue, very dragon-like stylings to her outfit. You got very pointy, spiky, reptilian stylings to just the outfit in general.
There's nothing wrong with getting a few scratches.
It's green. The green dragon, the green Power Ranger coin from the original show, which Rita had in her possession.
Steal it and then leave it on her nightstand as payment.
Was that harnessed the power of the Dragon Zord. So the original the picture of Rita Repulsa led many to believe that Rita, who was in possession of the green power coin, would have access to the Dragon Zord powers, and sort of this costume they argue, is proof positive that this movie is going to be setting up the introduction of the Green Ranger at some point down the line by sort of introducing Rita with the Green Ranger powers. Those rumors seemed to get a huge... seemed to be confirmed when a picture from the set was released, or leaked, depending on how you want to look at it, with Rita in a second costume, or, depending on how you look at it, this is the first costume.
Or her pajamas, because she's clearly just gotten out of bed.
But, I mean, this some people have said, vaguely calls back to the original costume. I'm only seeing it insofar as it's black.
Right, that's about it, yeah.
But the fact is that, that it is black, it does kind of confirm the idea that, this black outfit is sort of her default form, right? And the green armored outfit that we see is sort of after she taps into the green power coin. So, I know a lot of this, as someone who's not that big on the franchise, Jack, is kind of, I guess, flying over your head, I guess, maybe. But.
No, I mean, I understand what you're talking about. I'm familiar enough with the whole thing to both understand and not give a fuck. What I do think is interesting from my standpoint, I mean, I don't really care for or about the Power Rangers as a whole. I could have her go see this movie if it shows me that it can just be a good science fiction movie with shit blowing up, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And the costume, the new Rita costume, kind of shows me, kind of hopefully hints to me, that maybe this might take itself a little more seriously.
That they're not tied to some of the dumber parts of the source of
right, exactly.
material.
Yes. So, I mean, if that's the case,
I mean,
then...
ultimately that is a positive that I'm... I'm just saying, I kind of had the same reaction. Again, I like Power Rangers, but a lot of it really wouldn't translate well into the modern era. And so, if they're willing to break with some aspects of it, then by all means, do what you got to do to make a good movie. I am definitely not at all feeling the hate. I think Rita Repulsa looks positively frightening, and that's what you got to do when someone's nickname is the Empress of Evil. So good on Saban or Lionsgate.
Until Hillary Clinton sues them for copyright infringement.
Pardon?
Until Hillary Clinton sues them for copyright infringement.
Oh.
Jokes. I made jokes.
Let's wrap up episode 67 here with some Transformers talk, because we got a crap ton of Titans Return Generations leaks. And these have caused quite a stir, because basically we're seeing what I think has to amount to, when you combine this with what we saw at BotCon, this has got to amount to the majority, if not the entirety, of the remaining Titans Return line. So, Jack, you've had time to sort of look over everything. I know it's a big selection of stuff, but what are your thoughts on some of this leaked stuff? Does anything catch your eye as interesting? Does anything catch your eye as awesome? Does anything catch your eye as completely irredeemable?
I think it's interesting that Six Shot's coming back.
Oh yeah. Six Shot's coming back. It's been confirmed since this leak that he's gonna be a leader class, which you kind of have to do. He's got 6 modes.
Right. I think the new Optimus Prime looks like ass.
Well, this is actually a very interesting Optimus Prime design. It seems to be a combination of Generation 2 Optimus Prime and Star Convoy Optimus Prime, which was a Japanese-only design where it was like Optimus Prime in space, but more spacey.
Gotcha.
And you can even see that in the head design, because, okay, these are all Titans Return figures. They all have the Headmaster gimmick. And on the Optimus Prime toy, they show that he's actually going to come with 2 heads. One is a standard sort of G1 Optimus Prime design, and then you've got one with the pronounced 4-head crests, which is a clear allusion to Star Convoy. So,
well, I'm talking about, okay, in the picture there, I'm talking about the proportion of the face to the rest of the head.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about, and it looks positively retarded.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you got those really cheap-ass looking windows on the front. The whole thing just looks dorky.
Well, as far as coloring goes, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt here, at least as far as modifications go, because, for example, the original Sentinel Prime toy was really bright orange and red. And then we've recently gotten some production stills of him where it's like, okay, this is the final product, and he's got much more muted orange and red colors, a lot more light gray and white plastic for his limbs to sort of break it all up. So between Sentinel being unveiled and Sentinel actually arriving in stores for retailers to photograph him, Hasbro was like, okay, we're going to tone him down a bit. And so this is stuff that's even before the reveal phase, right? This is all concept art. These are all almost finished prototypes. So as far as coloring and decal layout goes, I wouldn't be too worried about, his bright blue, cheap-ass looking chest windows, because Hasbro could tweak those before this thing hits shelves, and it could end up looking, better. Just say. What do you think of the new Megatron that's going to go with this guy, the Voyager-sized Megatron?
I like the more recent one better. I mean,
The leader class.
Yeah. This one looks too top heavy.
Well, this is more. It is interesting. It is worth noting, that it hasn't even been a year. We had a leader class G1 Megatron that transformed into a tank, and now we're getting another G1 Megatron that transforms into a tank. The rumor, and like that leader class, this one's going to come with optional Autobot faction stickers if you want to get him all done up like he is in the More Than Meets the Eye comic book from IDW, which I recommend everyone who has an interest in Transformers go read because it's a fantastic book. But that aside, it seems interesting that we're getting something similar so close to, last time we got it. Which is something that I think this new design team at Hasbro, who sort of took over after the highly overrated Aaron Archer stepped aside, is their willingness to, I guess, go back and revisit concepts. We got War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, Bruticus, right? And then we got Bruticus again in Combiner Wars soon after, relatively soon after, where they were like, okay, that other Bruticus was decent, but we finally got this Combiner thing locked down, let's give it another go. And I do have to admire that, although I find myself, like you, Jack, wondering, I already have leader class Megatron who transforms into a tank. What do I need? Voyager class Megatron who transforms into a tank. But what is interesting is that this isn't just Megatron who transforms into a tank. He seems to also have, to be a triple changer and have a jet alt mode. And some of the information that was leaked with this indicates that this Megatron is going to be repainted with some slight retooling and a new head and turned into another Blitzwing.
Okay.
Well, I think that's interesting because we had Generations Blitzwing, Voyager size, not too long ago.
Yeah, well, maybe they want a mulligan on that.
Now, it is worth noting that there are rumors that this Optimus Prime will have a jet alternate mode as well, and that he's just going to be turned into Voyager class Octane. So we'll finally be able to complete that triple changer, that Decepticon triple changer, triple threat, I guess. Although that does mean that with the Astro Train, that's going to be a repaint of Sentinel Prime, we can now create the greatest G1 episode of all time. All we need are some model trains, and we're good to go.
Right.
Some model trains and a miniature football.
And one bewildered, scared shitless football coach, who I like to envision as Craig T. Nelson.
God. Oh, you know what? If only. If only. What was that show on at the same time? Like, was that show running during 84?
No, it was not. That show, I don't think came out till the early to mid 90s. I think, as I recall.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
But the other figure that seems to be drawing the most attention out of all of these leaks is actually Hot Rod.
Meh.
For two reasons. One, Hot Rod is a very popular character in the More Than Meets the Eye comic series right now. In fact, a lot of people, myself included, that series has single-handedly salvaged Hot Rod as a character. But also because Hot Rod since they've started with this whole Classics Generations thing, Hot Rod has only gotten one toy. It was back in 2006 when the whole thing first started, and out of that original run of Classics toys, if Classics Optimus Prime is the pinnacle from 10 years ago that has still yet to be topped, Classic Hot Rod from 10 years ago is sort of that turd everyone kind of forgets happened because it is so unremarkable.
You're unremarkable.
Well, I think that's what's fueling a lot of people getting excited about this, is that they've wanted a sort of do-over on Hot Rod and the Classics line for so long, and finally we're getting one. You know, that he's going to coincide with with his run in the comics that's proving extremely popular. Although I do think this Hot Rod, does look more top-heavy than that Voyager Megatron.
I
mean, you look at this guy.
I can see that.
Little shoulders, man. Little shoulders.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the only thing I can really say about this is the painfully obvious. It's Hot Rod. Yeah. I mean, it's a good representation. Here's my thing. All right, we're doing the Headmaster thing over again, and I wasn't a fan of that the first time. I'm not a fan of it now. I understand why they're doing it. I'm not saying, oh, that's crap. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that I didn't care for it back then. I still don't care for it. Largely for the same reasons that I didn't like it as a kid. I seen it for what it was, as a cheap gimmick. And now, with a slightly more discerning adult eye, I can say that it also makes the head designs a little bit bigger than they need to be and a little bit wonky in some cases.
I get that, and I certainly understand, like, a lot of the characters in this Titans Return line are sort of original headmasters, so it makes sense for them to be headmasters. But there are people who are upset that characters like, say, Hot Rod or Sentinel Prime or Alpha Trion, or even Optimus Prime, who were never headmasters, are now headmasters.
Oh, they had a Headmaster Optimus Prime back then, didn't they?
No, they didn't. He was a Power Master Optimus Prime, but that was something. But
whatever.
And you have people who are going, well, this Optimus Prime, these characters weren't headmasters, and now we're getting them as headmasters, and it sucks because why does my new Classics Hot Rod have to be a headmaster? My dissenting opinion on that is it ultimately doesn't matter, because if you don't want your Hot Rod toy to be a headmaster, just don't disengage the head.
Just throw the head away.
Like just don't unplug the head and turn the head into the little dude. You don't have to engage in it if you don't want to. It's a really elegant solution to the problem.
I don't know. It still has. I don't know. The head, like in the case of the Optimus Prime, right? That head design is 9 different ways butt-fuck retarded. I'm sorry. It looks horrendous. It looks stupid. And I would not buy that fucking figure. No way in hell. And that's my solution. If you don't like it, just don't fucking buy it. Quit your bitching. Again, vote with your wallet. If you don't like something, don't bitch about it as you hand your money over with a tear in your eye. Just don't fucking buy it. You're free, white, and over 21. Don't buy the shit.
I have a slightly... my opinion on it is that, you have characters who were headmasters. They're still headmasters. There's no conflict there. And for characters who weren't headmasters originally, just don't engage in the concept. I mean,
and if you live in Eastern Kentucky, it's a moot point anyway, because you're not going to get any of these anyhow because the Walmart doesn't carry them. Or if you go to the fucking Toys R Us in Hagerstown, Maryland, which is evidently follows the same philosophy as the Walmart in fucking Pikeville, Kentucky.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
That was amazingly bad. My first time in a fucking Toys R Us in 20 goddamn years.
I got news for you. The Power Rangers section there wasn't any better. They were just not interested in catering to those of us who appreciate giant robots that turn into things.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry, not 20 years. July of 2005, so 11 years. My first time in a Toys R Us in 11 years. And that's what I fucking get. It was just goddamn.
Man, yeah. Although the wait for a Walmart more than made up for it, but
it was good,
shouldn't have had to.
Right? But yeah, these figures, if you don't like them, people don't buy them. I mean, it's just, again, vote with your wallet. I mean, that's ultimately the only way that you can really, that's ultimately the only way you can effectively tell people, these people that fucking make this shit that you hate, that you don't want it. If you buy it anyway, then you're part of the fucking problem.
I'm gonna buy it all because I'm digging the whole Titans Return thing. And
well, I mean, if you genuinely like them all, then yeah, buy them. I'm just saying for the people who are bitching about it, don't fucking buy it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, this is a line that's actually giving us a Sentinel Prime toy. I can't be too mad.
Yeah, I'll probably try to grab one of those.
I'm telling you, dude, because you've got the Generations Orion packs, right?
Yeah.
So get yourself an Alpha Trion, get yourself a Sentinel Prime, and recreate
Cybertronian Office Space.
Cybertronian Office Space from Exodus. Where you have, like, Sentinel, like...
with Wheelie as Milton.
I was told I would be allowed to play my radio.
I enjoy playing my radio at a reasonable volume. I put strychnine in the guacamole.
Alpha Trion walking by. Or
I said no salt on the margarita. No salt. I fucking love that movie. I don't have to fucking rewatch it now. I love that goddamn movie.
So,
anyone out there who has not seen Office Space, fucking go see it.
Buy
it, find it on TV, pirate it, do whatever you got. Just fucking see it.
Alpha Trion walking up to Orion Pack. So, did you get the memo? Sentinel Prime wants the new cover page and all the TPX reports. Yeah. I don't know. And have, like, Optimus Prime, Orion Pax, Prowl and Jazz take the copier out.
Oh, Jesus.
But I think that's going to do it for...
Ooh, they could have, like, Alita 1 work at Tchotchke's.
With Flair?
Yeah, with Flair. And Orion Pax can be all like, well, you know, the Decepticons have Flair that they made the Triple Changers wear.
God. The Nazis had Flair they made the Jews wear. Oh my God. So that'll do it. A good Nazi reference is always a good note to end on.
Indeed. You know, wherever there's Hitler, humor will soon follow.
Or Coco the monkey.
This is true.
So you can catch us on all of our platforms. Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube. Send us email at basicallygeekshow@gmail.com. Catch us on Twitter at @ageekshow. And, of course, basicallyasportshow.com to catch up on Bags, Bass, and basically a football show, which will be returning shortly.
As soon as football returns.
Well, with the advent of the NFL draft, which just concluded. So, all that good stuff. For Jack, this is Mike signing off for Bags 67.
Good night, everybody.